let me ask you this before I go to the next slide. Talk to each other. What percentage of products once launched succeed? What percentage of products once launched? 2%? 20%? 7%? 10%? 1%? 1 to 2%? I heard 10%. Let me work with that because that's a nice round number. 10%, if it's 10% and I'm the vice president of finance and you come to me and say, I want $1 million to launch a product, how many times do I think you're going to have to come to me before I get a success? Come on. I'm an old professor. I can wait all day. What? 3 to 5 times? Come on. 10. On average, it's going to be 10 times. You know, sometimes it's going to be 3 times. I'll get lucky on the 3rd time. Sometimes it's going to be the 10th time. Sometimes it's going to be the 20th. But, you know, I'm expecting that you're really asking for $10 million, right? So think about what's going on in the head. By the way, I did this with a Coopers and Lybrand risk management group, and the average response in that group was 1 to 2%. So they're expecting a 100-fold return on their investment in new product development to break even. That tells you something about what the risk managers of the world are thinking. Is that really what we experience, though? Well, we know, generally speaking, again, this is an aggregate of many studies. It takes about 3,000 raw ideas to generate about 300 submitted ideas, 125 small projects or patent submissions, 9 early-stage development efforts, 1.7 launches, or 1 market success. 1 market success. So 1.7 launches to 1 market success is what we're talking about, which is about 58, 59%. And that number has been stable since 1955. Isn't that remarkable? Isn't that remarkable? Over 50 years of consistent performance in this space, we consistently, where do we spend all the money in product development? Well, you know, it's here, up here almost nothing. Down here, you know, we're spending some money in the early stage development efforts, but a lot of it's right there at launch, isn't it? So when we get hit for being a failure, it really matters where you measure it from, but we're pretty successful when it comes to launching. 60% success rate. A 60% success rate. The best-in-class companies tend to run about an 83% success rate, and you have people like Lafley at P&G right now in his recent book saying, hey, I want to drive our success rate down. I want to drive our success rate down from 83% closer to 50%. Why does he want to do that? More ideas. We can afford to take more risk. Profitability comes from those bigger swings. So we can afford to take more risk. If we can afford to take more risk than our competitors, what's going to happen? We're going to win bigger in the long run. And he's, you know, you've all heard the old thing about Babe Ruth. Led the league in both home runs and strikeouts in the same year. Isn't that interesting? Okay. This is different data. I can't support it. It comes from a consultancy that just focused on 200 packaged goods companies, and this is what percent of forecasted sales do we generally achieve when we launch new products. And this is one set of data. I'm sure there are others. The number they say is we generally hit about 65%. I was really struck by that because, you know, completely different way of measuring things, and it's 65%. The other is 60%. You know what? I think we're not measuring success rates here. I don't think we are. I think we're measuring our tolerance for risk. I think we're measuring our organizational tolerance for risk. We have to bat more than 50% in order to keep our jobs. That's what I think we're doing. I don't think we're measuring risk in a real, random sense at all. I think we're measuring our tolerance for taking risks. I don't believe in coincidental numbers. At least I think it's worth looking at a little more, and I'm just really, really impressed with the consistency in these cases. The only thing I really want you to look at on this slide is this area up here. While the percent of sales from new products are up by more than 20%, profitability is down by 15%. Now I'm looking at across decades here. What we have in terms of the decisions we're making as we do target more and more targeted projects, more and more due diligence efforts, is we are eating our own lunch. Profitability in new product development is down. And we have to look out for that, because one of these days I'm really, really scared that this number is going to be on the front of the Wall Street Journal. And we're going to have to say, yeah, well, you know, we're not doing a really good job here. I believe deeply in due diligence innovation. I believe deeply in new to the world innovation. I am scared to death of that middle level of stuff, because as Yoda said, do or do not do. There is no try, right? You know, this is not a situation where you can go a little way into it. When you step out of that due diligence box, step out and step boldly and know where you're going. So if you're talking about a grand vision, get serious and go for it.